Oh, you have to make it so I can share.
Okay, hold on. I'm just gonna make you host. That'll be easier.
Okay.
There you go.
Thank you very much. All right, let's see if this works.
I love this picture. Behind all the icons, I love the picture.
Aren't they so cute? They were being so quiet that day, and I was like, I'm so blessed. So I went, they're playing together, and then I went and found them, and they were inside this big box, and they were coloring on themselves, and I was like, I'm gonna kill you. They're such blessings.
Janelle, your desktop does give me a little anxiety. I'm not
I
gonna lie.
know. I'm like, I know where everything is. Just leave me alone. It's how my brain works. All right, let's see if how do I move you guys around? Slideshow. Did I mean a slideshow? Where's Crystal? I thought she was going to be so proud of me. Welcome. This is something I use. So I'm Janel Logan. It's really nice to meet you guys. I am in Exton. I'm Keller Williams agent. If there are people on this call that don't sell real estate, that is my beautiful baby girl. And the first house I ever sold in 2014, I got licensed. And my intention then was to make 20 grand so I could pay off our credit card debt and go on a really nice vacation. How cute is she? She's going to be 11 at the end of this month.
Gosh.
I know. These are my beautiful babies. Then 1 year later, I had my second daughter. And this was Thanksgiving evening. And this is the first night I caught my husband cheating on me. So my marriage imploded. And then my little part-time fun money job got very serious very quickly. So I went from, look how cute they are. I went from doing 10 sales in 2014 to that was 2015. I did 33 sales, 2016, 27. And by 2017, I was a single mom with 2 little babies. And I did 41 sales that year. And this was right around the same time where what I was doing every day, I had to get up and go to work. And that's how I brought in money, right? So I was like, what happens to me if something happens to me? So I had this bright idea where I'm like, I'm going to buy investment properties and have passive income. So
Love the
passive income. This was a guy, this is Vishal Patel. He came in as a Zillow lead in 2017 and he wanted to buy investment properties. So I was so excited and I'm sending him a link and I'm like, hey, and this is back in 2017, you could find a deal on the MLS. I'm like, here's 3 houses I would flip. So he's like, you don't understand. I'm going to put up all the money. We're going to partner and you just handle it. So I'm like, yes, right? I'm in.
Yeah.
So this is the first property we purchased together. Look, the dog's in the picture. That's how this is. This was, I went too fast. Hold on. Oh, let me go back. I don't know why it's doing that. Hold on. I'm going to get back to the beginning. Sorry, guys.
It's all good.
So this is the first property that we bought and we fixed it up. So everybody likes to hear the numbers, right? So look how cute we made this, but we bought this in July of 2017 and we purchased it for $68,000. It was listed for 45 and I always like to include that because I went way over and people told me I was crazy. We then put 37 grand into it. We were all in for 105. It appraised for 182. So we refinanced it. We were able to pull 36 grand out in profit. And then our mortgage was $835 a month at the 3% interest rate. And then we rented it for $1,600 a month. I ended up selling this property for $205 in 2020. So that's what we started doing. This was like the first one we did. Then we did another one. And then we did another one. And then we did another one. And then by that time, by the end of 2019, we were up to 32 units. And I was completely losing it. So I'm running a very busy sales business. Let me see if I included that. And then had all these units I'm supposed to manage. So this is when I met Crystal and she worked for me. She's very, very serious hire. and she's a spreadsheet person. So I just brought it to her and was like, I need your help. Help me. And she then organized everything, fired the property managers. Like, Crystal don't play. If you guys ever meet her, she's very serious. So together we sat down and talked about what we wanted for our future. So this was I would carry this with me. This is my plan for the future. So I have the Logan Real Estate Group for my sales. I have then these were all my ideas back then, and this was a pipe dream. No, you guys don't need to see this. You don't care. At the same time, while we were doing this, I feel like it's important for everybody to know I closed 68 deals alone in 2018, then started my team. This was the sales business in addition to buying the investment properties.
Oh my gosh.
I know, so crazy, right?
Yeah.
So,
How many agents is that, Janelle? How many
What's
people
that?
how many people are on your team at that time?
So I was doing the crazy roller coaster. I think at one time I had like 15 agents. Now I'm down to 3 full-time agents, 1 part-time agent, an admin, and 2 ISAs, and life is wonderful now, currently. But so where I'm at today. We just sold 175 units at my real estate team. We are the #1 team in our office. I currently own 150 rental properties. From that, we started a maintenance company, a property management company. And these are all me and Crystal's businesses together. So we have this one, and some of these units we own together, and a lot of them I own part. So this is what people always want to know, right? How? I can get off the slideshow if you guys don't. I can stop the screen share so I can see your faces. Hold on. So everybody wants, oh, thanks, Crystal. Hey. I'm sorry I missed you earlier. Everybody wants to know how we do what we do. So I tell everybody you need 1 of 2 things. You either need the deal or you need the money. So if you have a knack for finding good deals, there is a plethora of resources out there where you could get money. And are you guys aware of that? Am I speaking foreign to you, or does that make sense to you? Hi, Katie. Yes? No?
Could you elaborate?
I think
Yeah.
we definitely have some no's. So if you don't mind explaining.
No, I don't mind at all, because sometimes, so I'll go back to I'll show you guys this list too. If you guys don't know, I feel like I didn't know, and then once I figured it out, I was able to put it all together. So here are all the different places that we currently get money. So we have hard money lenders, and so they're essentially people you go to, and they will lend you the money based on the property. So they're going to not look at your credit or not look at anything else. And for that luxury, you're going to pay a higher interest rate. So right now we're paying about 14% on our hard money lenders' money. People think that's crazy, but it's like we just add it into our cost. So if we can borrow the money, and sometimes we're picking up bigger deals. So I'm like, oh, what's it going to cost to borrow $500,000? We try to be in and out in 4 to 6 months. So we just factor that interest rate into our cost. Then there's also private money and family and friends. It's people that that would lend you money. I don't know if you guys have those resources, but if you haven't asked and you know somebody who does have extra money, I mean, I hit up, my mom's the cheapest human, most frugal human alive. I ask her all the time if I could borrow money and offer her 10% on her money. She's always a hard no. Absolutely not. She's never let me $1. If you
keep asking.
What's that?
And yet you keep asking.
Oh, I always keep asking her. She's like, no, that's why you're so resourceful. You can also pull a HELOC. So if you have equity in your current property, if you own a property, that's a really way to get money out. And a crazy dance that I've done that I've just gotten Crystal into is a lot of people don't know if you have a credit card or apply for a credit card. A lot of times those credit cards will give you a 0% intro rate. So I would have 3 or 4 credit cards with high balances, and there's no balance, I'm sorry, limits. So I could literally go write myself a check from that credit card and take $18,000, and I borrow the money at 0% for a year. After the year, if I don't pay it back, they're going to charge me 28%. So it's been this like fun game of borrowing the money and then making sure I pay it back on time. But credit cards can be a really good resource as long as you have a plan and you know your deadline as to when your interest rate gets up, because or goes up. That's where people get caught. What do I have next? All right, so that's where you get the money from. If you are looking for deals, where we get our deals, pretty much by now, like everybody knows what we do, and we've gotten really purposeful about communicating that. Like people are like, oh, this place is a dump. Let's call Crystal and Janelle and see if they want it. And that's kind of what we're known for now. And that took a while to put that message out there. But anybody who we get referrals from people that know us, or if anybody inherits a house, they'll call us. We have a lot of luck on Facebook Marketplace, which sounds crazy. I know. But it's for people. Think about if you don't really know what to do and you inherit a house or you're just trying to get rid of one, people go to Marketplace and put it there. We have developed really good relationships with a lot of local wholesalers. So if you guys have wholesalers in your area, make sure they know that you're looking to purchase for you. Not that your wholesalers here are a realtor and then they don't want to deal with you. But if you're like, no, I am a buyer, that's how we got in. And we've gotten so many deals from wholesalers in our area. And then my last one I would say is other real estate agents. If you are looking to pick up investments and if they come across them and they don't want to keep the deal, I would make sure that they get to know what you're looking for. Greatest excuses ever. I don't know how and I don't have time. That's what everybody says, right? I laugh at you. Crystal and I are both moms. I was a single mom and went through it. So I say there's a million things that you can do to create time, but these are just some of the things that I pride myself on. I always get my groceries delivered, food preps.
What the fuck are you doing?
She talking to me.
Nope, not you.
I was like, what?
We'll cut that out in the recording.
That's awesome. But these are some mom hacks that we use just in life, because I do think there's a big differential in being a woman, being the mom versus being the dad, right? Because we have such a more mental overload of the things, not even the physical demands, it's the mental demands of making sure that she's got her violin and her French horn and the swimsuit and their birthdays are coming up and I need this and I need that. So these are some things that really helped me get organized. One thing I got really purposeful on last year was batch buying. So if I know I'm getting my nieces, like all the little girls in my life that I'm going to have to buy a gift for this year, Black Friday comes up, I got all them necklaces with their names for like $7 a piece. It was just my niece's birthday. I already had her gift. I send it, it's done. So I try to do things in bulk so it's not as cumbersome as doing it one at a time. Then I have somebody who helps me with laundry, housekeeper. When my kids are at sports and activities, that's when I'm on the phone making calls and doing things I need to do. And then I'm a big proponent of your natural cycle. So if you know that you have a lot of energy beginning of the week, that's when I'm like Monday through Wednesday, I'm on it. I can do whatever you need me to do. That's when I'm going to work my hardest. I'm going to make my calls. I'm the most like outgoing. Let's go. By the time Friday hits, I always tell people who know me, like, I don't people on Fridays. I don't call anybody. I don't see anybody. I don't shower. I don't like, that's my like down day. And I used to beat myself.
Weird. I guess some it made a passcode for, but some didn't. So I'm not sure why it did that, but Miss Erica.
Maybe it's a wave.
Yeah, maybe she's saying hi. Like,
Yeah,
or
I'm
like
thinking-
hi.
So I wanted to know, I can invite whomever I want to this Zoom, right? Because I'm about to start tagging some people that expressed interest, women that were interested in investing. Is that okay?
Yeah, get them in our group. Give us.
Or is it just for realtors?
Okay,
perfect.
yeah, it's just
All right,
for
thank
as long
you.
as they're a woman. That's all I care.
Got it.
All right, well, it's 2:05. Do you want to get started while the women continue to pour in?
Yes, I would love to. Are you a stickler for following the schedule? I can see that about you.
I definitely, yes, I am.
What do you guys want to know? I guess I want to know where everybody's from. What market? Is everybody a realtor on here?
No, we have some non-realtors on the call. A good bit are realtors, but I do know we've got at least one that is not a licensed realtor.
Okay.
Hi, everybody. You could take yourselves off mute. This can be very casual.
I'm very casual by nature.
Mhm.
Okay. You guys want me to start? Should I start my spiel?
Yeah, let's get in there.
You want to do a quick, I have a little slideshow thing I do. You want me to do that?
Sure.
All right, don't judge my screen.
Have a moonlight miracle time. Do it in the evening.
Yeah, so I'm dead. It's like I'm perfect, but like a miracle morning, I could get in. I don't know. I was like anti that because my girls were really little when that was popular. I'm like, where's the breastfeeding, Hal? You're not talking about having to get up all night and be breastfeeding from 12 to 3 and then getting up and praying, are you? And journaling. Let's see you journal after that. But I'm a natural early riser, but I also am like, my brain's all done functioning around like 3:30, 4 o'clock out because I just used it all day. The other thing is, I don't think anybody really gives enough weight to how much time it takes to run around and do all the errands we have to do. So we have a runner on our real estate team that, I mean, some days he's running around doing things for hours. So that's a huge time saver.
And for those who are on this call that are realtors in our market center, KW Central PA, we have that Keys Please app, which is great for getting showing agents. But you can also, there is a runner option. So you
Awesome.
can just any agent in our office who needs a little extra cash, if you can't afford a full-time or a part-time runner, like you can utilize agents in our office to drop off the escrow check, drop off the sign that someone left at closing, like whatever those odds and ends are, like use Keys Please.
So when we started picking up properties, we all found it a natural fit to start a property management company to manage all of our properties. And the original intention was then we thought we'd grow that company. So we put together an investor meetup. First, we went to other people's investor meetups, then we started our own. So now we've had a lot of success building a community around this. These are our dates. If you guys ever want to come down to the Pottstown, Pennsylvania area, our next one is February 8th. And it's all about where to find the money. We're going to have two of our biggest lenders. One's a private guy, hard money lender, and the other's a local commercial bank. But they're going to speak and talk about how they analyze who they give money to. But my advice to anybody on this call, if you want to get into investing, is what are you doing to put yourself around people who are doing what you want to do? So I'd start there to learn. What questions do you guys have, and why are you here today?
I'm here today because I met you, what, about a year ago at a breakfast? Was that on the East Shore? And I was like, oh my gosh, I need to connect with her because it's you figured it out, and KW, we share everything. So I thought, this is great. I can rip off and duplicate. But I admired that you went for it you were fearless of going into the investment side of it. And I think a lot of people are more fearful, and no matter what, like our team's passion is to help people build wealth in real estate. And that's why I'm here, because I want to learn from you. And we're lucky in this area. Matt Hylick is really good. I met with him a couple weeks ago, and your first buy that you had was exactly what he told me to do. And I never knew that. Like, go in and buy something with the idea that you're going to renovate it using the cash, and then knowing that the bank's going to come out and put this price on it. And then he has it rented before he gets that loan. Like that just blew my mind. And so when I saw that you do it the same way, like that's all new to me, but I'm like, that's really the key, I think.
Well, and people say I'm fearless, right? And I always say, I always go to what's the absolute worst possible outcome if I do this, because I do some crazy things, like some
Right.
crazy things. And if I'm okay with the worst outcome, then I'm gonna move forward. But when we buy properties, now that we've been through the global pandemic, like all this crazy stuff, and interest rates have gone from 3 to 9% in a year. So we'll buy properties and be like, our intention is to sell it, right? Or whatever it is. If that doesn't work out, can we rent it and get a mortgage at 9%? What does that look like? Like we have multiple, like, if this, then that, just as like a safeguard. So people are always like, you guys are so crazy. I can't believe you bought that X, Y, and Z. And I'm like, we have a plan. And then we usually have a backup plan. And then we usually have a backup to the backup. So we're not that crazy. We just appear crazy because we move really quickly.
I think that's kind of the key too, moving quickly. And the other thing he taught me, which I was like I saw opportunity, and then my husband and I were driving out of the neighborhood, and I'm like, oh, I don't really know about this neighborhood. You know, how's the appreciation going to be? And Matt goes, it doesn't really matter, Julie. Even if you kept it for 10 years and it only appreciated like maybe 2%, you just had somebody paying it down for 10 years. And I thought, oh, Matt, I didn't see it that way. I was getting stuck on the appreciation as well. And I was like, so those were two light bulbs in the last couple of weeks that, you know, are like, okay, I think I can understand this differently.
So Crystal, my partner's on now. And that's something we just added probably the end of last year to our spreadsheet, Brittany, is how much appreciation did the renter pay down for us? Because we've gotten stuck with a handful of properties where we're like, oh, we're gonna flip this and we're gonna do X, Y, and Z, and it's amazing. And we weren't getting what we wanted. So I'm like, just rent it. And we rented the property for a year and we were losing like $100 or $2 a month, and Crystal was losing her mind. And I'm just like, dude, it's fine in the grand scheme of our lives. And she's like, we got to sell it. We got to get rid of it. And I'm like, so that's like something to take into consideration. And I think it matters what you're trying to achieve too, right? Like if you're going for cash flow, that's not going to work for you. If it's an appreciation play, then is it the worst thing ever if you're in the whole $100 a month?
Well, and it also depends too, if you refi it and pull all your cash out, because we've done that on some properties that we're not cash flowing that much right now, but we really refied and pulled out like the next 5 years worth of rent at one lump so that we could go buy another property. So adding that, how much principal we're paying down has been super helpful to change my brain.
Other questions you guys have? What else do you guys want to know about?
I have a question. When you initially started, how much did you do of like the renovating and the work yourself, or did you hire someone to do all of that?
So initially, I hired someone to do that. The story I always tell is my first house purchase ever. I was 24 and I thought it was going to be like HGTV, where I was going to go in and I was going to paint and it was going to be so fun. And in 3 days, we're going to party. That was like 9 months of renovations where I went like massively into credit card debt. I'm crying after work, like learning how to sand drywall. And I just promised myself, I was like, I will never, ever, ever, ever buy another property if I have to ever do this ever again. And I've held true to that promise. So we used to hire it out. And now since then, we have a full construction company that is the crux of who does our work for us. But you can, I mean, if it works for you and you want to, if that's something you like to do and you have the time. But for us, it's all time is money too. So if you're like, oh, I'll work and then I'll do this when I can. We see people who do their own work and I'm like, dude, you could have paid somebody and gotten done a year sooner. So I'd look at that before.
Well, I always think you should run your numbers as if you're going to outsource everything. And then if you like to do it and you have the time to do it or the capability to do it, you can consider it a bonus in your profit. But if the numbers don't work with outsourcing stuff, it's not a deal. Like if it only works when you're doing the work and not paying yourself like market rate, then it doesn't really work.
It's something for sale.
Right. It's not a
Not
deal.
Yeah.
And we like to look for deals. People bring us stuff that's for sale very often, and we have to explain to them that that's something that's for sale. It's not a deal for us. But then if there's a lot of realtors on this group, I mean, if you get known or if you have an interest in investing, and I always go in as an investor first. If there's somebody that doesn't want to put it on the market and they have a compelling reason why, I'm like, well, I'll make you an offer. My number's going to be much lower than what you could get on market, but we've picked up some home runs that way, where there's just for whatever reason, like the one place was a dump. The other guy was elderly and he had COVID and he was like, I don't want anyone in my house. So I'm like, my offer is going to be X. You could get so much more. And they're like, no, I'll just sell to you.
Yeah, I think we forget that money isn't what's always most important to people. Like some people, it legitimately is time. And that's okay. Like you don't need to feel guilty about it as long as you're upfront and honest about, hey, list at this or sell it to me now at this. We close in a week or two.
Yeah, and there's a
Got it.
lot, like there's a lot of, in my opinion, there's a lot of people in jams right now, and it's going to get even more so. And some people don't have the luxury of time. Like we've bought places where like it was on the brink of foreclosure. So like they were either going to lose everything or get out and not have a foreclosure under their belt. So
Well, and for some people too, like the path of least resistance is the most important. So if we buy something and be like, take what you want and leave everything else, and we'll buy whatever it is, leave it, and you don't have to fix anything or get rid of anything. And that's like a big thing for some people.
what do you want to know, Katie?
I was muted. Hi.
Hi.
So I always like to be on calls like this just to, see what people talk about. Janelle and Crystal are my personal friends too. And I'll just really, really quick share my story with investment properties. So my husband and I own 4 single family rentals in West Reading. And Janelle greatly helped me just like take the plunge with it. So I am like the spreadsheet numbers organized, have to have all the lists for all the things. And I knew that I wanted to buy a rental, but it scared me. I was like, how do I do it? Like, how do I find a tenant? Like, I knew I wanted to, but I didn't know how. And like in my mind, I had like trillions of questions. And I was like overthinking things for it. So I bought our first one it'll be 3 years this year. And we bought our second unit on the same street randomly that year as well. And then the following year we bought one. And then last year we bought one. So we own 4. And I'm so glad that Janelle pushed me. Like she was like, Katie, just buy it. Just buy it, do it. Like you're smart, you'll figure out what you have to do. I'm very much like a paperwork type person. So I actually like doing like leases, finding tenants. I have right now, knock on wood, great tenants in those properties. I'm the property manager for them, because I only have 4. But Janelle and Crystal have both just like greatly helped me, for me to grow from 0 to 4. And with how the market has been in the past 3 years, so the 4 rentals that I bought, I've gained at least $100,000 of equity in each one of them. So I've gained $400,000 equity in the past 3 years just by buying those 4 properties. So Janelle and Crystal are awesome. They can answer so many questions. They are just like such a great source and awesome people.
I paid her to say all that, just so you guys know.
Great. I love that you say that though, because even with me being in the business, like I get fearful, right? Because like Janelle, I was a single mom when I got in this business. So now that I'm on my feet and I have money in the bank for the first time since my bankruptcy, like I'll start doing a calculation on a property and then I literally like kind of start to withdraw and I'm like, no, because I want to like hoard my money because it's like a safety net, even though I know better, right? Like I teach classes, I know that building wealth is through real estate. That's the way to do it. But I get so nervous.
It's like after you just take that first step and buy that first door, that first house, you'll feel so much better just kind of being more comfortable with it. But I was scared. Like it took me, Janelle and I talked for at least 2 years prior, and she was just like, Katie, buy it. Just buy one.
You're killing me.
Yeah. So do it. I mean, it
Well,
is worth.
And there's also power in partnerships. Like Katie and I went to lunch a couple months ago and she's like, yeah, I don't know if I want to like do another one right now. I don't have the money. And she was talking about like some great deal that could have came up. And I'm like, dude, we will partner with you. We will like, don't ever say no to a good deal. Like figure it out and get with somebody who has the money and doesn't want to hoard it. We don't hoard our money. We are always the money as fast as it comes in, it's right back out, and we'll talk to each other and be like, this is it. We're gonna wait. We're not gonna buy anything for a while. We really need to get some money in the bank, and another deal will surface, and then we have to buy it.
I love it. Julie.
Yeah, I have a couple questions. So rent, that's what always gets me. So like I did get the rentometer, kind of sounds quirky, but I can put in a property I'm interested in and it, does this little magic wheel and then it comes up and says, this is the rent for that area that I could get. How do you determine rent? That's my first question. Then I have another one after that.
Crystal, you want to go? That's more your wheelhouse.
I mean, it's just like if you were going to list a house, I pull comps. So instead of just going to the MLS, I look on Zillow, I look on apartments.com, I look on like hot pads. And then if you're investing in the same area, like right now, I've done it a bunch of times. So I know what I can get for a 2-bedroom in Pottstown versus O&J. But if you're not sure, you pull the comps and see. And then it's the same rule. If you have it listed, as long as you have it listed on all of the different sites. So like Facebook Marketplace is a great place. You want to make sure it's on Zillow, and like hot pads are where we get most of our leads from. If it's listed on there and you're not getting requests or not getting clicks, then either you're not out there in the right place, your rent's too high, or your pictures aren't very good.
I'll be really honest with you guys, transparent. We hired a property management company. I partner with my son. Neither one of us are attached to anything. It's strictly business, bottom line number. My grandchildren's college education here. So, and neither one of us, I'm running a business and he's running a hotel. So neither one of us have time. So we do have a property management company, and really the expense was very, very low. So we still had a great return. Yeah, they've been awesome because I'm want to find it. And yeah, the numbers need to make sense. And then I want somebody else to. Anyway, the second thing, vacation. I'm curious, in all your doors, do you purchase anything outside of the area, that any vacation spots or just rentals that you don't use, but that they're being rented, because they're at the beach or at the mountain or the Poconos. I keep hearing about the Poconos.
I hate the Poconos.
I know. See, my parents used to have timeshare in the Poconos, and I'd be like, why can't we be at the beach? What's with the Poconos?
So I have 2 Airbnbs. One is at the beach and one is in the Poconos. I think it matters where you're at, and again, how hands off you want to be. Where my property, and it's really good that I can speak to 2 different places, right? So my one place is in Ocean City, New Jersey. It is a tiny 2-bedroom, 1-bath. It's the first house I ever bought that I keep. I just ran numbers of what I made last year. I made, selling Crystal, $38,000. I rented it out when I didn't use it, and then I use it when I use it. And that's how I do it. There's legitimate people there. I lived there for 5 years. So if I need something, I can call somebody, they run over. There's an amazing cleaner that I have that does a thorough job and tells me, this is broken. They took all your spoons. Like there's always something weird that happens. Oh, you have no idea. I'm like, where'd all the spoons go? Well, I don't understand. So That's fine. It's easy. It's almost like an afterthought. Then there's the Pocono House, which is in a very like more, it's not in a touristy town, I would say. It's in a very remote, tucked away place. I hate Airbnb this house. I did it last year because I was like, I want the income. I can't stress enough about how there's always something, and there's not the infrastructure for the people to take care of it. Like we burn through how many different cleaners?
Yeah, like 3 or
There's just
4.
all these weird, so it's hard to find boots on the ground there where people that actually show up and will go, and it's a little bit more spread out. So is somebody going to drive 45 minutes to go do what you need to do? And when I say do what you need to do, like this is real, the stuff I'm going to say right now, okay? A bear gets in the trash and like overnight and gets the trash everywhere on the yard. All the neighbors are calling and texting me. It was like, you have to get the trash cleaned up. I pay somebody to go clean up the trash. They apparently didn't clean up the trash good enough, and all the neighbors, it's in the neighbor's yard. It's just like one thing after another. I have a hot tub with a ball that like dispenses the chemicals. It's like $130 thing. Somebody decided to take the ball. So then when the cleaners show up, somebody else is checking in that day and the hot tub's green. And I'm like, that's impossible. I have the fancy ball. And she's like, the ball is gone. I'm like, who would take the ball? Right. And then I think the difference too is like my neighbors are complaining that people are throwing beer bottles into the lake. Like there's always something. They're breaking something. They're stealing something. Where are all my life jackets? Why would they take my Alexa? Why would they just take the Alexa cord? Like I could go like on and on and on and on of like just all this stuff where I'm like, I don't understand. So now with that place, and this is also, it's a like, I say a little bit bigger. It's a great layout for a ton of people. So I get the bachelorette parties, the bachelor parties. Like my place has been destroyed. So they took all the air hockey pucks. I'm like, where did they go? Why? And then the next person shows up and is like, where are all your air hockey pucks? And I'm like, I don't know. How did they take all of them? Yeah, I know it sounds funny when I'm saying it, but like when it's happening, I'm just like, this is so annoying. So with that place moving forward, I'm just renting to family and friends, and that way I can control some of the crazy because it's always something up there. So
Yeah.
Airbnbs is not for me.
Yeah, Brittany, didn't Ben have an experience, something like that up there? Somebody in our office was sharing the same thing in the Pocono.
Yeah, it was
Yeah.
Ben Espen Shade, like,
Yeah.
yeah, and same thing, like when something would happen, sometimes he just couldn't get people out there quick enough because you're so far away. It's hard to just grab resources.
One of the bigger snowstorms that we just had, I looked on my cameras, and whoever had checked out on New Year's, I like have specific instructions. It's like you have to put weights on the edge of the hot tub because of the wind, and it's just how it is. They didn't do it. So the wind whipped off my hot tub cover, blew it off. It's snowing, and I'm like, now my hot tub's going to freeze and break. Right. So then I have to like spend my evening trying to find a local kid who can walk over to the house. I had to pay him $15, but I'm just like, that took like an hour and a half of my time, and just the whole thing's annoying. It's not for me. So my advice to you is I do have friends who have tremendous success with Airbnbs. They buy in resort towns where it's easy and they have a manager, and that's the route I would go if I ever did it again. But I don't know if it's like a me thing too. Like I'm the most like whatever person, but it annoys me when I go to my beach house and there's like a burn mark from the curling iron in my shelf. And it's like somebody broke this. Like it's always like all these little things that I'm just like, it's so annoying to me. So I'm kind of over it.
No, I think that's my fear with those two. I know we have some that like rent out to traveling nurses a lot in Carlisle. And they said the number one call that they get is like people don't know how to use the TV remote. So they're getting these weird phone calls at like 10 o'clock at night from these people because they can't work the TV remote, and they're just like, oh my gosh, so frustrating.
Correct. I had my first Airbnb guest ever. I was so like excited. I'm gonna Airbnb my beach house. This is it. They called, there's one bathroom in it, and they're like, the toilet's broken. It is Memorial Day weekend. And I'm like, oh my God, the toilet's broken. I am calling plumbers. I have finally found one plumber who will go out because it's a Sunday. It's going to be $250 just to go out. But I end up calling my buddy Jeff, who lives down there, who's a realtor, who lives around the corner. I'm like, can you just go look at the toilet and tell me like what's up? it was running. So they just had to like take the back off and like, that's what was wrong with it. So like they made me think that the toilet's broken, it's inoperable, it's one little thing, and like they didn't know how to get the toilet from like it, like the handle was stuck.
Oh my word.
Yeah, it's fun. What else do you guys want to know?
I think that, and I just listened to a great podcast this morning I was going to send to you, Janelle, but I think it's really important, like saying that is figuring out like what your tolerance is and what you like to do. And then saying no to anything that doesn't fit in those boxes. Because for some people, Airbnb is an amazing business and they love it. Both of us don't like short-term rentals.
No, we're
Right.
hard out.
Yeah. And like we both wouldn't say yes to that somewhere else. But if you figure out what you like and what your goal is, right? So like we're not living off cash flow. So we'll buy a property, fix it up, pull all the cash out and rent it out and not worry about if we're getting cash flow because that's not what we're living on. Where someone else might be like, I need to make $10,000 a month in cash flow so that I can quit my job, right? So your strategy might be a little bit different than what we're doing because we both have other jobs that pay our bills. We're playing a long game with our rentals and look, so, and for us, it's like a tax game.
New game,
Right.
tax game.
New game, how to not pay taxes. The tax.
I got a refund last year.
Yeah. So I don't think you're going to have the same success this year, but
Yes, I am. I already talked to the accountant.
fingers crossed. But I mean, I think that that's really important because like I go to a lot of meetups, I listen to a lot of podcasts, I get on and I hear all the different people talk and I have like, that was what inspired me to start, right? But you can listen and hear 10 different things. And for some people it's amazing and other people it's like, that doesn't fit into what their goal is. So if you kind of figure out like why you're even interested in investing, like, do you want to flip? Do you want short-term rentals? Do you want to own apartments? Like I know one person in Oklahoma that they have 120 single family homes. They don't have any multifamily. Like that's their box. So I think it just depends on what you like want to do.
When I originally started, my number one goal was to buy 2 places so that when my girls were going to go to college, I could have enough equity to sell each of them and be able to pay for college. I was just playing like the hold game.
I think that's definitely my goal is if they want to go to college, it pays for college or it helps them jumpstart their portfolio. Like I could pull the equity out to help buy their first investment property. A lot of people in my office know this, but like I've been very firm. I am not paying for weddings. I will help them buy investment properties so they are set up for success so they can always stand on their own 2 feet. I got married super young, clearly didn't work out. Worked out because I have 2 beautiful daughters, but yeah, so I don't want to make it any easier for them to say yes to saying I do.
What other questions do you guys have? What's stopping you from investing?
So how much of your like real estate knowledge helped you in this transition? Because I'm one of the people that's not in real estate. So, financially, how much did that help you get started or just the knowledge of what's out there, things like that? Like I have no ties to real estate at this point, except for the house that I own, and that's it.
So that's a good question. So financially, I was in like the worst financial position of my entire life when I started investing. But my responsibility in that partnership was not to bring any money. Mine was to do the work. So I would say financially 0. And then for you, you have to either have somebody that you really trust. Like if you have a realtor that you're going to be like, hey, I am looking for investments. Here's what I'm looking for. And I'm going to trust you. But I would say you need to have at least some type of knowledge as to what you're buying. Like you have to know the market and know what your goal is. A lot of real estate is strictly numbers. So if you're like, I want a cash flow, what do you think this place could rent for? And then what's it going to cost me? It's easy to figure out. But so that's my answer. Crystal, would you agree?
Yeah, I mean, I don't sell houses. I have a real estate license, but I just got it recently because Janelle made me. But I mean, I don't sell houses, so I've been in real estate industry for a few years, but I would say that, I mean, everything's available online. So you don't have to have access to what the realtors have, but like partnering with people that you trust is definitely very important. Like do the trust and have a conversation. I mean, if you're partnering with a real estate agent to get you into houses, that's different than partnering with someone on a flip or on a rental. But yeah, I would say not that much, right?
Hmm.
When I wanted to start investing, I went deep dive into podcasts and online seminars and stuff.
Yeah, I would say, Joni, like keep coming to groups like this. Go to the one that Janelle hosts, like find those groups because you can learn so much just by being around the conversations. I know investors who don't get their real estate license because then they don't have to worry about the liability when they sell.
Mhm.
Because there's extra red tape that realtors have to go through when they're selling a property themselves. So I know investors that it's not worth the little bit of maybe commission negotiation savings that you can get. It's not that great to them to take on the risk of selling properties being licensed. So yeah, keep showing up, keep asking questions. You'll learn.
There's just so much available for free online now. Like
Oh
it's
yeah,
available.
and doesn't like Bigger Pockets have a podcast? Like
Yeah,
there's
so
Bigger
Bigger
Pockets
Pockets is one of the first ones, yeah. But I go back and listen to like the ones that were from like three years ago, like some of their older stuff is what I really like for getting started. But yeah, Bigger Pockets is a great podcast. I'm like Audible, I always listen to books while I'm driving in the car. So like if you listen to any of like Investing 101, like the Burr method, like Rich Dad Poor Dad stuff, like basic ones that give you the foundation and the concepts. And then inevitably, like it'll start recommending next level stuff as you start to listen to that stuff.
Well, and most people want to know before they go, right? So if you start learning and then get immersed in that type of culture and the whole investing world, then if an opportunity does present where it's like, oh, your neighbor's house is going to come available and they bring it to you because how do you want to buy and it's a good deal, then you'll be ready.
Yep. Millionaire real estate investor. Seems how I'm a KW team. We have to plug that in. Kind of my
I
job.
love all your KW-ness.
Yes. I drink the Kool-Aid by the batch.
Yeah, but like, I mean, I tell people like there's nothing like extraordinary about us. Like we're just moms who are trying to do better for our kids. And what made us drastically different is that we learned it and then we did it instead of just learning and not doing something.
I do want to plug before people start hopping off. Our next class is going to be February 22nd. From 2 to 3, so same time frame. Miss Katie is going to be teaching her big class, Successfully Running a Private VIP Facebook group. So one thing that Katie did not get to get into on the Women's Mastermind on the panel was how she generates a lot of leads through providing a ton of value to her people in a VIP Facebook group. And some of this stuff doesn't cost her a ton of money. It's just time and effort.
She has your picture if you want.
What's that?
Queen.
I thought she was talking to me.
Me too.
But
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't know I was. Okay.
Don't know how to be. Yeah, I'll make sure I post that in the group after this class so you can mark that on your calendars. Thank you, Katie, for volunteering to teach our next course. And I'd love to hear too, like what other stuff do you want to learn from this group? And I also wanted to put it out there that you can all post in the group. Like I don't have to be the only one posting. So if you feel something in your heart or you want to share, the purpose of the group is so we could all network with each other because we all have businesses that we can refer to one another and empower each other. The world can be tough. And I think in today's age, there's too many women out there knocking off each other's crowns. I want this group to be the one that helps fix each other's crowns when we're going through something. Because we can
I'll start
definitely,
posting, I'm sorry.
yeah, start posting. Like, this is not my group. I'm just like the admin, but please post.
Janelle, are we apologizing in advance?
Yeah, I'm sorry, I haven't posted as well.
They're like, noted, taken over.
Other things that I want to see and learn. I mean, I don't know. I think there's a lot of value in, I'd love to know some more mom hacks. I'm all about that. What else? Anything investing's good for me.
Investing. Anybody else? Adrian, you're awfully quiet.
Well, I was just sitting here thinking, you know, for someone, I don't know anything about Joni, and I don't mean to put her on the spot or anything like that, but if you ladies are thinking about real estate, or you know somebody who might be thinking about real estate, just keep in mind that Keller Williams does offer scholarships that you can get your real estate schooling done using KW as a resource for a scholarship. So if real estate is something you're interested in, or you know somebody that's interested in, make sure you plug them into a KW and let them have that opportunity.
Look at her plugging leads in here.
Oh,
Love
I
it.
know, right?
I mean, listen, you all know, like I bleed KW too, and I'm all about loving my job. And yet I'm really curious if Janelle and Crystal are hiring, because I think they would be super fun to work with.
We are.
No,
So we're,
Hold on a second.
we are always hiring. We are super fun, but then we expect a lot too, because we're super freaks where we will have a great time. Dude, I didn't show you yet. I just got a little thing to hold my phone on my dashboard, because when we drive, it's always like a ridiculous conversation. I'm gonna record you. But yeah, we're always hiring and looking for people to come with us. But usually when we're like, hey, here's what we expect, everyone's like, yeah, I'm all set, thanks.
Yeah, we say we hire can-do people, like people that can do the work of two people, essentially.
Well, yeah, yes. And then I'm not good with details, right? So one of the things is like people who work for us have to learn how to like communicate with me. Cause I'm just like, oh yeah, no, that's too many questions. Like just.
I showed up for my first day of work with Janelle 5 years ago, and I was like, I'm all ready to start my new job. And I get there and her assistant was like, she's on vacation. What? I was like, no, look at my text. I'm supposed to start today. She's like, yeah, no, she's on vacation and I don't know anything about this. So I was like, cool. Is there a login to the computer? Like,
And look
so,
at
yeah,
look at
lack
you
of
now.
detail.
You crushed that first week.
Yeah. I did. But I mean, that's like the way that you got to have people around you who are resourceful if you're going to go anywhere, really. Like, leverage and people who can figure it out.
Well, that's what's needed for us. Other people might be inclined to hire the people who love the details. Like Brittany and Katie, I can see you guys just detailing all over each other. Yeah, I'm like, Katie will always like,
Did
what are you wearing if we're going somewhere? I'm like, dude, I don't know. I don't know what I'm wearing. I'll figure it out that morning. It'll be like
I
whatever.
remember, Jason Abrams spoke to us one time, and I've never forgotten him saying this. He said, most of the time it's not a lack of resources, it's a lack of resourcefulness, right? The resources are always there. It's just a matter of finding them.
Well, that's like, you pretty much know, like if I tell employees when they start working, like if I'm like, oh, I don't know, let me Google that, then that's pretty much like my nice way of being like, this isn't gonna work anymore. Cause like we all have access to the internet. So if I can Google it, so can you.
I love that.
Like,
Adrian,
we
we
should
should
end
start
on that note. We sound mean. We have to end on a happy note.
I'm so sorry. No.
Oh, I don't think it's mean. I think I always go back to, I think it's understanding your big why. We all
Yeah.
have the opportunity to, like, you know, we give one life, but we have lots of opportunities, and we really do have the opportunity to create our own life. God gives that to us, and he wants us to create our own life. And so I just think I just read a book and it said most people don't understand their big why.
Yeah.
And
Well,
it took me a while. Yeah.
No, I didn't, did I miss, I saw you had like our value charts in there.
I didn't,
Did you-
yeah, you weren't here, so I didn't do it because I thought it was weird. I
Oh, I'm
didn't-
sorry. I was here, I saw it, and then you were like, no, you don't want to see that. Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, you can talk about it.
No, I mean, so we use an assessment that it's more about like what your underlying motivators are as opposed to DISC. And so Janelle and I are very, very different personalities. Like I don't like to talk in front of people. I'm not at all. But and Janelle's high I, like all the sales, right? But our underlying values, like if you line them up on top of each other, they're almost like identical. So like we're both very bottom line driven. We both don't work well with people who need a lot of details. So if you're a detail person, you might want to be with another person who also likes all the details, right? And like we work very well together because of that.
Who knew? Ha, who knew? Anything else before we go, guys? If you guys have any questions, reach out. Probably the best way is probably email or calling me. I know that's weird. I'm running around a lot, so if people try to like text talk with me, I'm not the best at it. Or Marco Polo. You guys on Marco Polo? It's like Snapchat for old people. I'm really into that too.
I've heard of it, but I have not.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you, Christine. Thank you so much for popping on and taking your time to teach us today. If you want, post that picture in the group when
I
you're
will. I'm gonna add you to my post. I'm gonna start posting in that group.
yeah, start posting so that way we can, I think I can come to your February 8th class. So if anybody wants to carpool, let me know.
That's a good one. That's with the money. We're gonna have a bunch of people who want to give you money. Then what's your excuse if you can hoard your money and use other people's money?
I know, right? I don't have one. I really don't. You can hold me accountable to it. I have to buy something soon.
Right. Okay, by June 1st.
I like it. June 1st. Let's do it.
Okay.
There you go.
All right. Awesome. Thanks for having us, guys.
See ya.
See ya.
Thank you.
Bye.